Hey everyone, so I'm going live like a minute and a half early or something like that. Not a big deal here. But so today was definitely an interesting day. Sorry for the late post or the late stream tonight. The neighbors were shooting off fireworks. My puppy was, well, she's not no longer a pup. I mean, she's what, now 9 months old or something like that, but she was just freaking out over it. So finally my neighbors stopped lighting off fireworks, so I was able to actually get down here. Plus, I was doing a lot of updates on the miners because we had like 5 miners provide their updates for June. So that's why we have a late live stream tonight. But we will talk about obviously what's going on with Bitcoin right now. It's been dumping here recently today and then into the new day as well. We'll take a look at the miners. We'll look at Marathon and Riot today. We'll look at, I think it's BitDeer, Hut8, and TeraWolf tomorrow. So Hut8 actually provided their numbers here, which was kind of a surprise. But it's a good surprise nonetheless. But they did provide also May numbers in there as well. So that was good. So we have May numbers, June numbers for them. And I'm happy to see that they provided those. So maybe they heard the community pretty loud and clear that we want to see these continued updates going forward. So we'll look at those. We'll look at the miners. The miners were kind of mixed today as well. But we'll look at all that and get into you guys' Q&A side of things. But as always, you guys know this. Not financial advice for entertainment only. Please do your own research. My full disclosure as well. And then if you enjoy this type of content as well, hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously here. All right, so let's take a look at what's going on here with Bitcoin really quick here on the day. And if you guys remember, I talked about it yesterday, and I talked about it a little bit on Monday as well, where I saw Bitcoin on the RSI side of things looking like it wasn't looking too good. And I said we might be coming back down to like the 200 simple moving day average. Well, we broke past that today, or the new day, right? But today we were down 3.05% on the day. We closed at 60,145. After the new day came up, we went down even further. We went, right now we're down another 2.09%. We're right now trading at 58,889. We did get to the 200 simple day moving average here, which is the green line down here. We went below it, or wicked below it, and then came back up here a little bit. Now, if we look at the RSI on it, at least the way I'm seeing it here, the RSI is at 32. Last time we were at 32. Bitcoin was actually in higher price at that point. It closed at 60,313, right? So I'm thinking the RSI could possibly go down a little bit more here for us, meaning we either get down to our 57,500 mark here, which is our next support line potentially, or if that doesn't hold, then we might be going down to like the 53,700 mark, or was it 53,000? Yeah, like 53,050 or 53,500, sorry. Somewhere around there. I'm not sure exactly where it's going to head to, but that's just kind of what I'm seeing right now. I'm hoping it doesn't do that. If it does, not a big deal, right? We're probably going to bounce off of that because I think that might be the bottom in here for the recent trading session, I guess you could say, over the last couple months here that we've been in. So we'll see where it goes, right? Nobody really knows where it's going to go, but that's kind of where I'm seeing right now, unless we start bouncing off of this 200 simple moving average and go from there. But based on the RSI, I think we will actually go down even more. Okay, so that's Bitcoin in a nutshell there. Miners today, like I said, we're a little bit mixed. And we had some miners that were actually up with Bitcoin being down, which was kind of a surprise. But we have seen this before, not a big deal. But there weren't any huge gains on the miners here. BitDigital was up a little bit, 1.23%. BitDeer was up 1.89%. Cypher up 1.53%. DMG was up just 0.2%. Hut was up 3.13%. Mawson up 5.84%. Wolf was up 3.17%. And then the rest of the miners were kind of down here on the day. So not a great day for the miners, right? Typically this is what happens when Bitcoin is going down, but that's kind of what we expect, I guess, to see, right? So we're still in a little bit more of a, I think, pain mode going forward, at least for the next couple of trading days, maybe a week or so. We'll see when Bitcoin actually bottoms out here. And then hopefully, right? Hopefully we'll start going back up a little bit here. Plus I think we're like, what, 72, 73 days past the event. And that's typically when Bitcoin usually starts going into its bull run here after the halving event. But so we're due for one, I think. Okay, so that's it for Bitcoin miners as well. Let's get into the two companies that have reported here, updates for June here. First one's going to be on Riot here. Actually, we'll do Marathon because we'll do it in alphabetical order here. So we'll do Marathon and we'll do Riot. So Marathon provided some good numbers here as well. They're improving their operations and things like that. So Marathon announces Bitcoin production and mining operation updates for June 2024. Management commentary here. Due to operational improvements in Allendale and the facility being fully operational as of the beginning of July, we doubled our average operational hash rate year over year in June to 26.3 exahash, said Fred Thiel. Right, this is good there. Domestically, our team continues to optimize our recently acquired sites with immersion cooling technology And with the latest generation hardware, with these advancements and the expansion of our fleet, we remain on track to reach our target of 50 exahash by the end of the year. So that's also pretty positive. I mean, they're at 30 some exahash right now. Excuse me, that leaves them to approximately get to the 50 with like 19 exahash left or something like that. We'll see if they can hit that target. Right, it's still quite a bit of hash rate to install, especially that we have now July. So we got 6 months left basically. But here's what we got. So Bitcoin produced 590, number of blocks won 158. This is for Mara Pool, right? This is what I can track for their self-mining. They do have other things with joint ventures and things like that that use other providers for pools there. And then the energized hash rate was 31.5 here. So that's kind of what we're going with. And then average operational hash rate was 26.3, which is a nice improvement here that we have also from May, right? May was 25.8. So we're getting more and more operational uptime and things like that, which is good to see as well. And that's definitely an improvement from what we've seen in the first 4 months of the year. So they're doing the right things here. They're getting the operations back up and in order here. So that's good. In June, Mara energized approximately 13,000 additional miners. So that was about approximately 2 exahash. As a result, Mara operating fleet increased to approximately 250,000 Bitcoin miners capable of producing 31.5 exahash in June. Mara achieved a peak overall hash rate of 28.3 exahash. Rate figures are calculated according to the manufacturer specifications, right? So all good things here happening for Marathon right now. If we look at their numbers here as far as what they have installed hash rate, I'm not going to go through all this. You guys can take a look at it here. And then as of June 30th, 2024, the company holds a total of 18,536 unrestricted BTC. Mara opted not to sell any Bitcoin in June. The company still intends to sell a portion of its Bitcoin holdings in the future periods to support monthly operations, manage its treasury, and for general corporate purposes. The company also intends to continue strengthening its Bitcoin holdings through strategic open market Bitcoin acquisitions and investing in other opportunities to increase its Bitcoin yield. So it looks like in June they did buy some more Bitcoin here. We'll look at the numbers here, my spreadsheet. You guys will see that. And then I think that is it here for them. So overall, like I said, really good numbers here. Much better improvement here in efficiencies and things like that. That's what we want to see from Marathon going forward. So they're fixing their issues, which is good, like I said. Let's get into my spreadsheets here, and I think I forgot to load this. So I have to load this right now. Let me see here. I forgot to load my spreadsheets here. Gosh. Okay, so we're going to experience a little technical difficulties while I start out my spreadsheets here. So please stand by, and we should have some elevator music playing right now, which I don't have right now. Let me see here. Where's my numbers here? There they are. Okay, so that's loading right now. Forgive me, my mistake here, not getting this up and running here prior to all this. Okay, so technical difficulties are done. Let's take a look at Marathon here. In Marathon, I used the 158 BTC that they provide, or 158 blocks that they provide as being mined through Mara Pool, which was up here, 158, right? That got us to the numbers that I'm using for them for their Bitcoin being mined from that. Let's see here. Going over here. Okay, Marathon. 272 million shares outstanding right now, almost 273. Stock price as of today was $20.98. Market cap 5.7 billion. And the performance over the last 12 weeks has been, I guess you'd say, okay. I mean, hasn't been great, but it's been okay. They're down 4.9% from 12 weeks ago. They're up 15.7% from 8 weeks ago. They're up 3% from 4 weeks ago. And then last week they were up 3.33%. Right? We've seen other miners that have performed even better than they have in this regard. But they're still in the number one valued here miner with the highest market cap right now. Current hash rate 31.5 exahash. Future hash rate about 52. I think some of those machines are going to be swapped out. And then, so hash rate left to install is about 18.5, I guess you could say, in order for them to get to the 50. So they still have plenty of growth there. BTC HODL, 18,536. That's valued at $1.2 billion in HODL. That's a huge HODL there for them. And their market cap is to HODL is 21.33% right now. Looking at their Bitcoin self-mined here, they mined approximately 551.51 based on the 178 blocks that they mined. I did pull in all the Mara data or Mara pool data for those blocks and how much they got in each block, and that's kind of what I was able to figure out there on that one. Okay, revenue here. Revenue is basically down a little bit here, almost flat. It's 36.34 million from the 37 that they had in May. And I really don't know why that is. They did, well, we'll take a look at it here, but I think maybe it's just because they mined a little bit less because they didn't install that much of hash rate based on what they had. Bitcoin HODL, like we see here, just been going up crazy here. Last year they were at 12.5. They're now at 18.5. So that's a 6,000 increase in BTC HODL there in just a year. Hash rate, nice little increase here as well, 31.5, about 800 petahash being installed, roughly from what they had in May of this year. Bitcoin sold. So here's where we get to the number where they actually purchased some Bitcoin. It looks like they purchased about 89 Bitcoin here in June to add to their Bitcoin HODL position. Their BTC per exahash efficiency went down to here to about 17.51, so they still curtailed quite a bit there, looks like. And then going down here to the institution side of things, institutions did increase here to 457, and also the shares increased to 118 million from 117 million. Percentage went up to 42.18. We still have 2 strong buy ratings for them, 2 buy ratings, 5 hold ratings, 1 underperform rating, and 0 sell ratings. Price target stayed the same for the high, $27. For the average, same thing, $23.56, and the low of $18 for them. Okay. As far as which miners got installed here in June, sorry, I installed a little bit more of these. Don't know which miners they are. I'm guessing they're 195 terahash miners. They could be the Argo miners. I'm not sure. They have not provided any information on that, so I'm kind of guessing based on the amount that they provided and the hash rate that they're going to be getting from them. So that's kind of what I'm going by here. Okay. Let's see here. So that gave us, what was it? With JV, joint venture was 38.8 million. For the self-mining was about 36.3 million. And now when they were operating for about 21 days here, it looks like, based on my numbers that I'm gathering here. And then also their Bitcoin transaction fees included in that was, let me see here if this is it. Included 2.5 million here in Bitcoin transaction fees for them on it. Okay. So let's see, does that work out? Yeah, 36.344 million. Based on my numbers here, I have them between 1866 and 2799, right? They're at 2098 right now. I think they're fairly valued on the low end. I think they could be definitely valued a lot more. As they improve their operations and going forward and everything like that, I think they will do much better. The stock price should do much better as well, especially as they grow towards the 50 exahash this year. So that is it. Overall, it's finally nice to see Marathon do well on the operation side of things. Uptime, we'd like to see that be a little bit better, but their average hash rate has been increasing here, which is good as well. So they just need to keep doing it, keep doing what they're doing, and I think they'll do great going forward. Okay, so that's Marathon. Let's take a look at Riot here really quick as well. Let's see, where's Riot? There it is. So Riot announces June 2024 production update and operations updates. It's going down here. They had a nice increase here in June, and we'll talk about it a little bit here as well. So Bitcoin produced was 255. Bitcoin held now is 9,334. Nice little increase here from what they had. Pretty much they hodled everything that they had for the most part. They didn't sell any Bitcoin here. Deployed hash rate of Rockdale was 14.7 exahash. Deployed hash rate in Corsicana was now 7.3. Those are both very nice increases here that they had from May. Right, May they were 11.5 for Rockdale, 3.1 in Corsicana as well. Total deployed hash rate now is 22 exahash. Nice increase from the 14.7 that they had here. So that's really good there. Let's see, your average operating hash rate for both of those was 7.7 and 3.6. Overall, average operating hash rate was 11.4. Power credits, they get about 6.2 million here in power credits. That equates to approximately 100 Bitcoin or something like that. All right, so that was actually pretty good there. It was definitely better than they had in May. And then their all-in power cost here total was 2.6 cents per kilowatt hour. And if we look at that, it's estimated inclusive of all transmission and distribution charges, fees, adders, and taxes, net of total power credits. Okay, so that's kind of how they're figuring that out. Let's see here. Some comments here. So starting this month, we will also begin providing greater visibility on the results of our unique power strategy by reporting our monthly cost of power by facility net of power credits. This past June showcased our power strategy in action as Riot earned 6.2 million in power credits, reducing our net cost of power to an estimated 2.4 cents per kilowatt hour at the Rockdale facility and 3.9 kilowatts per hour at the Corsicana facility, inclusive of all applicable taxes, fees, and adders. This realized combined cost of power at 2.6 cents per kilowatt hour across both of our facilities ranks among the lowest in the industry and represents one of Riot's key competitive advantages. And yeah, that's definitely looking really good for them there, right? So it's good that they're providing that. I think the more clarity and the more transparency that they provide to investors, I think that's better. I believe in that. And I gotta say, right, it was a nice job by Riot getting all that hash rate installed. And I did watch the video. They provided a video along with it here. There's a link. There it is. I'm not going to play the video here, but you guys can watch it. And it basically, Jason in there says that within the last couple of days, they got a lot of that stuff energized here. So that's why if you look at what their hash rate is at, right, installed 22, but their operations average was only 11.4. That's why they didn't install or get a lot of this stuff energized until the last couple of days here in the month of June. So I gave him like 5 days of hash rate at that point, or 5 days of operating on those installed hash rate there, because I just don't know exactly when they got those up and running. But he said within the last couple of days. So that's kind of what I'm going by here with them. You can look at over Riot Powered strategy overview, infrastructure update as well, estimated hash rate growth. So they are still targeting 31 exahash by the end of the year, which is good. And that's about it. I mean, you can look at all that stuff here later on. Let's get into Riot here really quick. So Riot right now has 271 million shares outstanding, stock price at $9.57, market cap 2.6 billion. They actually are now, I think, IREN actually kind of beat them out a little bit today as far as the market cap position. I think IREN is now in third spot. Riot is in number 4 spot currently. Okay, and you can also see their performance here over the last 12 weeks has not been great. They're down 19, almost 20% from 12 weeks ago. From 8 weeks ago, they're down just slightly, 0.7. From 4 weeks ago, they're down 6%. And last week, they were down 4.29%. Right, the stock hasn't been doing that great here over the last however many months. And we coughed it up to, or at least I coughed it up to basically their poor operations side of things, right? Operations are increasing here, are getting better, but still the stock didn't do that great today. So I was a little bit surprised by that action there. I wonder if it's still one of those things where you have to trust and verify, right? So Jason said that they installed most of their stuff and energized it here within the last couple of days. So we give them the benefit of the doubt that that's the reason why they were only at 11 something exahash on average energized instead of the 22 exahash. So we need to see for June numbers be much better than they were in July, right? So our July numbers much better than June numbers. That's what I meant to say. Okay. But 22 exahash is what's installed right now, operating. Future hash rate 40, right? That's going into 2025 timeframe. You got plenty of growth left here for them. Bitcoin HODL 9,334. That's valued at 615 million right now, and that's 23.65% of their market cap. And you can see here that Bitcoin production here has increased from May, which is always nice to see that increase as well. They got a bunch of hash rate. It should increase also in July, based on if they get closer to the 22 exahash. That's installed. If they can have the uptime there much better, that would be great. Revenue also increased here. Bitcoin HODL increased as well, so that's good to see here. Hash rate, I mean, very nice hash rate growth here in the last couple months here. 14.7 in May, 22. I keep trying to say 2022. It's 22 exahash in June. So that's great there. Nice to see. They installed about 7.2, 7.3 exahash here in June. Got it energized, which is great. So congrats to the Riot team there. BTC per exahash efficiency is still pretty low, right? So we need to see that number improve here. Right, given that the month for June, they installed a lot of the stuff and energized it towards the end of the month. That should improve going forward for them. BTC sold value, you can see that they sold just a very little bit here. And then going down here to institutions. Institutions did increase a little bit here to 436. Shares increased to 128 million as well. Percentage went up a little bit as well to 44.93. We still have the same 4 strong buy ratings, 8 buy ratings now. The same, and 0 hold, 0 underperforms, 0 sells. Price targets went up a little bit here to $23. The average went up to $17.91, and the low actually went down to $11 here from the 13 on it. So that is all of that stuff here. As far as their miners are concerned, I removed a bunch of these older 90 terahash miners here, which I believe they were going to do at the Rockdale facility anyways, right, with the newer machines being installed. So I took out a bunch of those here, made them more efficient, which I think was the case that they were going to do anyways. And then some of the miners that got installed here in June were these MicroBT M56s, and then MicroBT M60S as well in here. So we installed a bunch of those. It looks like I have them operating for about 5 days. The rest of the machines that they had operating were operating for about 21 days, it looks like. And then I added about 1.6 million in BTC transaction fees for them. That got them to the 16.8 million here based on what they reported. And that's kind of what we ended up here as well. So as far as, yeah, I mean, we need to see this operational uptime, the 21 days improve much more closer, and I'm sure they're going to be working on that. If the power makes sense where you can curtail and make more money on the power than Bitcoin mining, they might do that. So we'll need to see that. And yeah, I think we just need to see that happen if it does happen. But they've been doing that for a while. So it's at least an improvement over May. May they were 18.5. So it's trending in the right direction, at least, hopefully in the long run. Based on all that, I have them actually between $8.14 to $12.22. They're at $9.57 right now. Given that their operations have grown and things like that, I could see them getting higher than this, right? I mean, analysts have them at $23 to $11. So that's kind of on the higher end of my side here for their low end, but my high is a little high, or my low is a little low, if that makes sense. Yeah. So overall, really good update from them. It's great to see. Now we just need to see them operate much more better in uptime. If they can do that, I think the stock will do very nice going forward. And then they just need to install roughly about, 9 exahash or something like that to get to 31 exahash from here. They have 6 months to do it. I think they will do it unless something really bad happens or something like that, where something doesn't get supplied or something like that, or something doesn't get connected. But other than that, I think they should be able to do it. Based on the simple fact that they installed 7 exahash here in 1 month here, I think they can definitely do it right now. Okay, so that is it. Oh, a couple of things I wanted to show you guys here. The market cap on the miners as well. This is as of today, based on the latest numbers that we do have for all the miners on their stocks outstanding, shares outstanding right now. We can see that Marathon is still number 1. Cleanspark is number 2. IREN just barely is above IREN here, is above Riot. IREN is above Riot. Then you got Core Scientific, TeraWolf, and all those. And then when we look at the enterprise value for hash rate here, IREN, for some reason, just shot up like crazy now. On the current hash rate, you can see IREN is being valued at 246 million per exahash. You got TeraWolf, followed by TeraWolf, then Hut 8, right? BitDeer, Marathon, Cleanspark, Cypher, same thing. And then looking at the future hash rate growth, I still, like I said before in my previous videos, I think Bitfarms, Riot, Cleanspark, Iris are going to possibly end up flipping some of these that are over here, which don't have a lot of growth going into this year. Some of their growth is more into 2025 as well. Hut 8, really not much growth going on there. We'll talk about Hut 8 tomorrow in tomorrow's video. We'll do that one. But that's it, okay? So, as always, my little sales pitch here for you guys. Not nothing else. It's just Patreon members get access to all my spreadsheets. That's available for $8 a month. There might be some open spots, $5 and $4. And if you pay the annual subscription, you get 10% off on it. And the link for that is down in the description below. But let's get into you guys' Q&A side of things here, and we'll call it a day. I didn't want to go through all the miners here today. If I include BitDeer, TeraWolf, and Hut 8, it would have been like a 2-hour video. And it's pretty late. I'm tired. I was working on the kitchen remodel today, and then trying to get all the data in for you guys as well. So we'll see how many questions you guys have, and we'll call it a day. And then tomorrow is also in the United States, 4th of July, right? Independence Day. Stocks won't be trading. There won't be any trading happening tomorrow. Bitcoin's going to be trading as well, or Bitcoin will be trading. So there's no stoppage in Bitcoin on that one. We'll see what Bitcoin does tomorrow. All right. Let me see if I can find some questions from you guys. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Hi, Seb. When do you expect Bitfarms to have a positive PE ratio? Probably not until maybe Q4. If you look at it on a cash flow, or if you're looking at it including depreciation, if you look at depreciation, it might be not until maybe Q1 of next year, potentially. Let's see. When is Bits? I'm guessing you're asking about Bitfarms here. ATM offer over. Don't know. Yeah, they haven't provided anything as far as being close to being fully funded, or if they're fully funded to get to 21 exahash. Let's see. Kevin says, Gary should do more research on Mara if only they were fully operational, but your comment neglects what they own already and also future. Yeah, I mean, if they were operationally like 100% or close to 100%, they would be doing much, much better. But they are improving things, which is nice to see, which is really good to see, actually. Let's see. Where do you see Riot heading now with its improvement? I was a little surprised, I'll be honest. I was a little surprised that Riot didn't bounce today based on the update that they provided, right? And I think maybe the only reason it didn't bounce was because the average hash rate was still at 11 something, right? But they had pretty good credits that they got, or Bitcoin equivalents on that as well. So we need to see an improvement in July numbers for their average hash rate on that. And maybe then it'll pump a little bit. Plus we need probably Bitcoin. Bitcoin was going down today. They didn't probably help anything at all. Let's see. What is causing Bitcoin to drop so much? Geez, there could be any number of things that are attributed to that. It could be just, I like to think it's just the market is being market, right? So the market is just trying to scare people out of it, trying to get people liquidated, things like that, in order for it to have a nice, healthy bull run. So if we look at it, I think, let me see if I can take a look at it here, if I have it here on the weekly. If we look at the weekly, let's take a look at the weekly chart on Bitcoin here really quick. So you can see the RSI is approximately at 50 right now, right? If you look at it here, last time we were here, we had a nice run up after that as well. Right prior to that, we were going down below it. So I think we're getting close to possibly having another run afterwards, which is nice to see, right? Because if you look at the RSI here, we got pretty elevated here in March, right? And ever since then, it's been kind of choppy waters here with Bitcoin. And it went up, came back down, went up, or it came back down. But RSI is looking much better here on that one. If we look at the monthly here as well, we got pretty frothy here as well with Bitcoin, right? We weren't as high as we were back in 21, but we did get pretty high. We got above the 70 on the monthly as well. So we needed a little bit of pullback here in order for it to continue going up. So I think that's mainly why. I don't think it's anything to do with like Germany having Bitcoin that they're putting back out there or selling, or the Mt. Gox things or anything like that. I think it's just the market being the market. Market is, for the most part, pretty efficient, right? So you needed to shake out a little bit, come back down, cool off a little bit, and then go back up more after that. So that's kind of what I think right now. I could be wrong on it, but that's kind of what I'm seeing here. Back to Q&A. Okay. See, any update on Bitfarms CEO? Can Riot leave them alone? Bitfarm price prediction by year end 2024 and 2025 end. No news on the Bitfarm CEO yet. Can Riot leave them alone? They can leave them alone, but will they? We don't know. We'll find out. Bitfarms price prediction by year end. That varies depending on where Bitcoin goes. Is Riot still trying to do a hostile takeover on them? And then can they execute on their 21 exahash growth by the end of the year? Could also depend on. Recently, they came out saying that they're open to HPC AI play, right, at the facility that they just acquired in Pennsylvania. What if they come out with news that they have a HPC play there, right? We don't know where that's going to lead in the stock as well. Right now, a lot of stocks are being pumped by HPC AI stuff, so there's a lot of things that depend. But let's just say Bitcoin goes to 100,000. At that point, I would think that Bitfarms would at least do a 2 to 3x at the very minimum at that point. Just in this year. Next year, depending where Bitcoin goes, it will probably go up even higher. When will Mt. Gox dumping be over is the question. Could be 30, 60, or 70 days in my opinion. Yeah, we just don't know, right? I've heard people talking about it where not everybody's going to dump that got them. Some people will definitely dump. The creditors that are getting the BTC will dump it. Others will hold on to it. And then there's also maybe a lag between when everybody gets it. Right, not everybody's going to get it all at the same time. I think there's going to be some lag. I just don't know exactly how much of a lag there's going to be. Let's see. Sold half my hut bag and got more IREN. Hopefully that's a good move. Yeah, I still think IREN is going to be a good play going forward. Great operator for Bitcoin. They're playing around with the HPC AI side of things as well. I think they will do very well going forward. Hut 8 is right now questionable in my opinion for Bitcoin self-mining, and they're working towards HPC AI as well. Let's see. When will Bitcoin go back up? I'm guessing within the next couple of weeks, I think it'll start going back up. We might be in some turbulent waters here for a little bit. Sebastian, do you think the miner prices could go higher than we expect in this bull cycle since they're approaching greatly, appreciating greatly already with BTC at only 60,000? Could they lag BTC again on the way up? Typically, the miners front run Bitcoin a little bit on the way up, and they actually peak before Bitcoin does, at least last cycle, and I think the previous cycle as well. So I'm not sure about that. Could they go up higher than we think? Potentially. But I'd rather be conservative on it. If we get more than what I think, it's all bonus at that point. Do you think Riot goes up Friday even if BTC stays stagnant? Gosh, I don't think so. Just based on what I saw today, unless people are actually digesting what Riot provides, and then maybe at that point, maybe. But my hunch is that I don't think so right now. At least not right now. I don't think. It would take Bitcoin going up. If I think Bitcoin goes up, I think they will go up as well. Hi, Seb, do you own any Mara, and what's your projection for going into the bull run? Love your work, and thank you. Thank you, yeah. And I do not own any Mara. The only reason I don't own any Mara was their operations were not great for a long time. So that's the main reason why I didn't own it. Yes, they are the biggest here right now, right? They also have the name recognition as well. If you search for Bitcoin miners, Marathon is like usually the top one that pops up. How will they do this cycle? I think they'll do very well. I think they might even surpass their previous all-time, which was back in 2021. Right? They were at like what, $80 or something like that. I think they might even surpass it. They're $20 right now. They're doubling their hash rate from where they are roughly, or not really doubling. Like they're going from 31 exahash to 50 exahash. Right? That's a huge growth there for them. That should be a good catalyst for them as well. They're getting to other things as well. I think the stock will do very well. Let's see here. David says, I never expected it, but Riot has now become my highest allocation. I just couldn't stop buying Riot between 9 and 950 recently. My Cleanspark, Wolf, and Bitfarm or BitDigital are most profitable though. Yeah, I mean, sometimes that's the way to do it, right? Is to buy when other people are fearful. You want to be greedy at that point. I did the same thing with Cleanspark. I did with Riot, or not Riot, sorry. With Cleanspark, with Bitfarms, and with IREN as well. And it's worked out great for me. Already covered that. When is Bitfarms ATM over? We don't know. Ryan says, good coverage submission. Appreciate it. Thank you. Let's see. What do you think Riot's next offer for Bitfarms will be? Oh, gosh, I have no idea. Right now, they're trying to go through the Canadian Tribunal for the stock market, I guess. They're to try to prevent Bitfarms from having the 15% poison pill in effect. I think they want it to go up to 20%. Depending on if they win that or not, will depend on what their offer is going to be, I guess. But I just don't know. Nobody. I don't think the management there or the board is going to accept anything less than like $6, $7 a share. They know where they're going. They have nice hash rate growth here this year, going into next year as well. They're possibly getting to HPC AI as well. They just have a lot of things going for them. Why would they sell themselves short and the investors short? Do you think we can see Riot heading back above $12 now? Potentially. Some investors might be waiting to see if they can actually improve those numbers for July, right? July and August are usually like their worst months for curtailing historically. So we'll see what comes out of it. Let's see. Seb, the market appears to be providing an opportunity to move from miners into Bitcoin at a very low price compared to historical. Do you agree? Sometimes we do get that rotation from the miners into Bitcoin. This might be one of those. If Bitcoin stays relatively low, where's it at right now? It's at 59,000 right now. It's a good point, but I think also the miners have a better X multiple going forward than Bitcoin does. Bitcoin might go up 2-3x from here, might go up even more. We don't know, but that's kind of what I'm guessing might go up. But the miners, I think, have at least a double of that compared to Bitcoin. Sold half my hut bag from 2020 today for more IREN. Hopefully that was a right move. I think IREN's a better player, better company than Hut 8 is. For if you're looking at like self-mining, Hut 8 has managed services, hosting, small amount. What are they at now? 5 point something exahash for their self mining, but some of it is also through a JV. So I just think there's a much clearer message with IREN than there is with HUT right now. That's the way I look at it. Let's see. Fed Powell issues, critics warning on Bitcoin crash by Forbes. Okay. What are the odds of Bitfarms buying Sato and Sato CEO moves to Bitfarms? Very, very small. Less than 1%, I would say. On that happening, Sato doesn't have a lot of infrastructure. And that's basically what Bitfarms needs going forward still. For growth going forward. But I think they have enough what they need to get to the 21 exahash. And they have more to get to 35 exahash next year as well. So question, why is Mara coins mined down from June compared to May when difficulty is down and other miners mine more this month when they announced last month that their mining problems were solved? Yeah, hash rate is down. Network hash rate is down. Difficulty is down. I think they just mined. Let's take a look at Marathon really quick. My spreadsheet here. See what we can gather from it. Let's go down here. Let's take a look at it here really quick. They were down, excuse me, a little bit here. But if we look at their numbers here, they were up in, okay, yeah, they were down in days mined here, 21 days compared to 25 days. Right, their hash rate increased, their average improved, but their days mined was down. That's why, based on my numbers, they can figure out for them. So maybe that's the reason, really, why they're down a little bit. Okay. Do we see Riot mined coins around 400 for July? If their uptime improves, right, where they get closer to like 90%, something like that, at that point, I would think they would be close to that. Yeah, they should be. Unless they curtail for energy credits and things like that. We'll have to see what that comes in at. Iagner says, hi Seb, thanks for your content. Helps me out a lot. Oh, you're very welcome. Question, where do you see Mara this year with Bitcoin going up to 100,000? So if Bitcoin goes up to 200,000, that's roughly, what is that? Well, it's almost, from here, it would be almost 100% increase, right? In Bitcoin, it would be a 2x roughly. It's at 50, almost, well, it's 60,000. So we're looking at, what is that going to be? 80% increase or something like that. So with that, I could say you could see a 3x on Marathon, right? Somewhere around there. I think maybe 2 to 3x, right around there, I would say. If Bitcoin goes past that, you could get definitely more multiples on that. Thoughts on Riot using curtailing as an excuse for what is truly poor operations. 6.7 million energy credits gives 100 BTC now, but in December, that energy credit will be worth 50 BTC. Yeah, so we need to really see an improvement in that. All right. We know historically, like the summer months have been the worst times for them to curtail, usually because they get better pricing for curtailing, right? Energy credits at that point. Last year we saw them get, 40 some odd million in August, I think it was, right, for curtailing because the price of power was just going like crazy because of the heat waves and things like that. So we'll just have to see which do they choose. As long as they get really good profits or from the power credits, then offsetting it with not mining Bitcoin, okay, that kind of makes sense there. So we'll have to see. We'll have to do some numbers on that math to see what it actually came out, right? Like we did right now. 100 BTC is roughly the equivalent that they had for the power credits here in June. We'll see what the power credits are for July. What could they have mined at that point being at 22 exahash? All right, so we can figure that stuff out. Let's see. Can you please check BitFuFu? They produced 1103 Bitcoin in Q1 2024, 28 exahash, and Bitmain partnership. BitFuFu does not provide, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I don't think they provide operational updates, monthly operational updates, which is what I need to see how they're doing. Let's see. Michael asks, why is Powell making comments on Bitcoin calling for a crash today, and this isn't his job to make such comments in a crash? Yeah, I'm not sure where that came from. I haven't heard anything like that. Might be Might be misinformation there. I'm not sure. I didn't see it. So if you could share a link with us, that'd be great. Let's see. Mike also says several participants observed that we're inflation to persist at an elevated level or to increase further, the target range for the federal funds rate might need to be raised. The minister stated. Yeah, I mean that's always a concern there, right? But we're seeing other central banks lowering interest rates, so I think the Fed will eventually follow. Let's see. Is the Mt. Gox bankruptcy Bitcoin distribution contributing to the Bitcoin price decline? It shouldn't be that much of a decline. There's only a couple $1 billion, I think, in that's being put out, right, from Mt. Gox. This is more than a couple billion decline here. So I don't think that's what's driving it right now. Maybe partially of it, but I don't think it's the full story there. Last cycle, did Mara peak with Bitcoin? Yes, it peaked in April when Bitcoin peaked at 63,000, and then it peaked again with Bitcoin in, what was it, November at 69,000. So it had a double top there. And yes, Mara did peak with that. Kevin, thanks so much for the super chat. God bless USA. Now buy some BTC USA. Yeah. Let's see. Hi, so do you expect Ethereum ETF's approval to take some money away from Bitcoin? No, not really. May have a little bit of an impact, but I don't think it's going to be a huge impact on that one. A lot of people see Bitcoin as a superior product, potentially, right? Ethereum does have its use case as well. But we'll see. We'll see how the ETFs perform for ETF or for Ethereum. We know that the ETFs for Bitcoin were wildly successful, right? Like the fastest growth on history of ETFs, I think. So we'll see if they can match it or come close to it. Let's see, I sold some Cleanspark to buy 17,000 shares of Bitfarms because of you, Seb. Your channel is the best. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. I did the same thing with Cleanspark, selling some of my shares to buy IREN, right? Sometimes you just have to kind of rebalance a little bit, see where there might be more upside potential. So, hi, Seb. Watching CNBC and a few experts predicting BTC price 70,000 in 2024. So is that high for this year? I would hope not. We already reached past that 73,000 before the halving event, so I would imagine that we're going to go up more than that. I would say between somewhere around 90 to 100,000 by the end of the year. That's kind of where I would be looking at things. Do you see yourself moving into Riot anytime soon, and why if you don't? Yeah, I don't see myself moving to Riot anytime soon. One, all my capital is already deployed in other companies, right? And the only thing, I would need to see much better uptime from them, right? Uptime, run some numbers on them. Their operations have to be improved. But maybe eventually I might get into them if I have the capital to do it. But we'll see. I'm pretty well set in Cleanspark, IREN. I have Bitfarms, CORZ as well. So we'll see. Right now I'm just, I wouldn't put it past me to do that, but not right now. I'm trying to look at questions. What are your top 2 miner holdings? Biggest holding right now is Cleanspark. I was up over 400% on that one until recently because it came back down. I'm at like 360, 370% up on that one. And then the next one would probably be, I mean, there's a tie between Bitfarms and IREN right now on those two for second spot. Anyone know what his favorite miner is? If you're asking about me, it would be, my favorite miner is Cleanspark still, followed by Bitfarms and IREN, right? No order there. I think they're both going to do very well going forward. I think Bitfarms right now is a little bit more undervalued. And then I also like CORZ. CORZ has a huge AI contract. HPC, like that, great deal there. Okay. It's here. Scott Richardson says, I'm in Sparky at 14-ish, 26,000 shares sold, just 2,000 on the drop today. It was ugly. You still should be in profit at 14, right? Where's it at right now? Cleanspark 16. Yeah, so you're still in profit here. Just got to be patient, I think. Let's see. trying to find another question. Okay, here we go. Hey, Sabuli Wu is saying that miners are capitulating right now, selling their HODL. So distressed miners are dragging the BTC price down. Are you seeing anything like that in your data? So the only data that I have is on the miners that are publicly traded, the ones that I cover. And the ones that I cover here, we saw Cleanspark HODL, we saw Marathon HODL, which are the some of the two biggest ones. And then Riot also is HODLing a lot. Then you have CORZ. CORZ sells regardless, right? Right now after bankruptcy. IREN sells regardless. Who else? Bitfarms added to their HODL a little bit. They sold a large portion of theirs as well, but they added to their HODL. So it's a mixed bag. I don't think where I'm seeing more selling. I'm seeing the same type of thing. I think eventually the miners are going to start selling more as Bitcoin price goes up, but right now I'm just not seeing it. I said between DMGI and Cleanspark, which one would you have the better growth in the next bull run? I'm limited to these two choices, and Cleanspark has recently pumped. Cheers. Okay, DMGI. Not a lot of growth there going forward, at least not right now. That has been reported from them. So I don't know how they're going to do. If Bitcoin goes up, will they go up? Yes, they'll go up as well. But I don't know if they're going to be able to outperform Bitcoin or if they're going to be like even with Bitcoin. Or I don't think they're going to be dragging behind Bitcoin, but they might at least perform like Bitcoin does. So whatever Bitcoin does, it's kind of what I expect DMGI to do. Cleanspark I still think has a 5x potential somewhere in there, right? Maybe a little higher depending where Bitcoin goes. But that's kind of the way I look at it. I know it's expensive now. I got into it much lower prices. So my average is like $3 and something on that one. So I'm holding on for dear life on that one. That one's my my rocket ship right now. We'll see if it can get to where I think it's going to go to. Let's see. Gary Pallet asked, does Mara fixing miners make a difference if they just curtail more as they fix more miners? I mean, if they curtail more, yeah, I mean, that doesn't really make any difference then. But their efficiency will get better. Their cost to mine Bitcoin will get better as well. So that kind of helps things there. What else? I think that's basically it. It's just the cost of mine efficiencies will improve. So those are all good things there. Yeah, we'll have to see how much they curtail. Do you see Bitfarms going back to $2 level? And what is the bottom price to buy up 100,000 shares of Bitcoin? Well, no, I have no idea where the bottom's going to be in at with dollar cost average in. That's what I've done in the past and continue to do so as well. I'm looking to buy more Bitfarms next week as well. I'll have a little bit of capital then to deploy. But yeah, I would just dollar cost average into it and look for red days, buy into those. I really can't get my thoughts straight. Seeing Bitfarms not appointing a CEO is a sign of intention to sell the company. Then I see them buying a new facility insurance. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it could be tough for them to get a new CEO with Riot hanging over their head, right? I've said this before. It's who wants to become a CEO of a company for a couple of weeks or a couple of months, right, and then get bought out by Riot? Nobody wants to do that. Everybody's looking for job stability. So that might be a hindrance there for them potentially. And it says props to you for surviving listening to the last space. I couldn't. Yeah, I just had it on. I jumped in for a little bit to also speak a little bit on that one. But for the most part, I was just listening to it while I was running numbers on the miners and things like that. So it's kind of in the background going with it. Ed, thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate it. Let's see. A question, what's the timeline for your Ethereum ETFs? When will it happen? I think like next month or two they're supposed to happen, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong there. Let's see. Do you think Bitfarms will catch up to Wolf in stock price? Bitfarms produced more Bitcoin than Wolf in June 2024. It should, right? If all things were equal, it should, but not all things are equal in this space. And Bitfarms is getting kind of crept on a little bit here right now with Riot trying to buy them out, no CEO. And Bitfarms is valued at $1 billion right now. TeraWolf is valued at 1.7. I mean, yeah, I think Bitfarms should be valued ideally like at 2.5 billion, somewhere around there, for the hash rate that they have in operations and things like that. So I think they're more undervalued definitely from where TeraWolf is right now. And that one. Is there a company that is a pure play in Ethereum, or the closest is Hive? Well, Hive used to mine Ethereum. They don't mine it anymore. I think the closest play you could find right now would be probably Digital. They have, 19,000 Ethereum or something like that. So they're kind of the closest play on it right now. I don't even know how much Hive has of Ethereum anymore. I think they might have sold most of it. So that might be the one there. Let's see. Okay, covered that one already. Let's see. Hard Knocks says Billy Bambro at Forbes is the one spreading fake news about Bitcoin. It is impossible to search for BTC on Google without coming across his AI generated articles every day. Okay, yeah, that's interesting. You gotta watch your sources where you get news from. Let's see. Since we hit the moving average 200 just now, do you think we head back up next week or onwards, or do we head to 56 and test the May low number? I think we may head a little bit lower based on the RSI itself. So if the RSI, I think it can go a little bit more. So that's why I'm thinking maybe we'll go down to like the 53 range, maybe, if the 200 weekly doesn't, or 200 daily moving average doesn't hold. Let's see. Who created Bitcoin? The Satoshi Nakamoto, right? We don't know if it was a group, if it was a she or a he. We think it's a he, but we don't know. He gave this gift to us. So very nice and kind of him to do that, or them. Let's see. David asked, question, what was your biggest regret last cycle, and what do you plan to do this time because of it? My biggest regret was not selling Hive. I had Hive from 2017, 2018 when I was buying into it, dollar cost averaging into it. It was up to I was up like 70,000 on it, right? After putting in a couple thousand into it. So that was my biggest regret there. I would have had a lot more cash to deploy this cycle. And the reason I didn't sell is because everyone's saying Bitcoin's going to 100,000, right? We were at 69,000. Could have sold at that point or a little bit before it. Would have done much better, but you learn those mistakes. It's like, okay, I should have taken profits, especially when Bitcoin started going down like 20, 25%. Should have definitely took profits at that point. Okay, let's see here. Amik, I think that's how you pronounce it. Amik, thanks for your thoughts, Seb. Glad to be part of the stream. Yeah, you're very welcome, and thank you for coming in. Let's see. Here we go. My Bitfarms average is 267. Will it make sense to add more or hold? So if I was in your case, and I was in your case for a while there while I was buying Bitfarms from like $5 on down, I was dollar cost averaging into it. So if you believe in Bitcoin going back up, right, going to new all-time highs, potentially 100,000, 150,000, whatever it might be, and you believe that Bitfarms will stay as an independent company or a publicly traded company, but separate from Riot, and they find a new CEO, if you believe all those things and you have high conviction in it, then it would make sense to dollar cost average into it, because I think there's still, more than maybe 5x potential on the stock. How much energy costs to produce one Bitcoin for Bitfarms versus Wolf? I will have those numbers once they report their Q2 results. The numbers that I have right now are for Q1, which are pre-halving. So I need to have those Q2 numbers for those. Let's see. Hey, Seb, would you consider jumping on a Zoom call with me to learn about options? David, yeah, I saw your, I think you posted a comment, right, on one of the videos. I will reach out to me on Twitter if you can. I think that's the best way probably that we can communicate. Or if you can find my email on YouTube, the About Me page. If you can find the email there, email me there as well, and we'll discuss it there. But appreciate the invite. Thank you. Let's see. Question, how do you feel about the term diamond hands? Yeah, well, diamond hands didn't work for me in 2021 with Hive. Right now, I'm kind of diamond handing the miners as it is because I still think that there's more upside potential. But eventually, I will have to paper hand and start selling those suckers. Let's see. Amik says you pronounced it correctly. All right, perfect. Thank you. All right, guys, we're at what are we at here on the time? We're approximately almost going into it for an hour here. So I've think I've gotten through all your guys' questions here. And then we'll see. Well, nothing's going to happen tomorrow. We'll see what happens with Bitcoin tomorrow. But other than that, I appreciate you guys coming in here. And, always fun to talk to you guys. It's always a pleasure to have you in here. Tomorrow we'll go over, I don't know what time. Maybe I'll do one tomorrow a little bit earlier. Maybe we'll do one in the morning around maybe 10, 11 o'clock or something like that. We'll do it on, what's out there? Not Bitfarms. BitDeer, Hut 8, and TerraWolf. They provide their updates as well. We'll go through those tomorrow. And then that way we'll give a chance to some of the people that can't watch these live streams at night. We'll get some people that are on in the morning as well. All right. But other than that, if you guys are in the United States, happy Independence Day. I love this country. I hope everybody else feels the same way. It's, I think, still one of the greatest countries in the world. Potentially, it's got its problems. Yes, like every other country does have its problems. But I think if you want to make something out of yourself and you want to do well for yourself and your family, I think this is still one of the best countries to possibly do that in. But maybe I'm just a little biased, potentially. Okay, that's it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great night, and a happy 4th of July if I don't see you. All right, I'll see you then.